What is up, everyone? Welcome to Big Brother. Welcome to Reality Room Spoilers with Paul, bringing you the latest on Big Brother 19 Live Feeds. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Yeah, from last night. So basically, literally right after I made my last video, we had the Big Brother announcement. It was for the new veto competition that happened today. So the announcement was basically the Big Brother Stormwatch. If you guys remember from Big Brother 18, the Stormwatch veto that Paul ended up winning, well, they're doing this veto again. So they called out the Superstorms again. We had Superstorm Cameron, Superstorm Jillian, and all that jazz. And so basically they just called all those out. All the house guests listened, and basically Paul and crew studied very, very, very intently for it. Like like they studied for fucking hours. Like I didn't bother watching most of the studying, but apparently something interesting happened during the studying. And I found out about it while watching Paul and Jason talking this morning, which is actually rather interesting. Because according to Jason, Christmas was really pissing the two of them off during the studying last night. Now I don't exactly know why, because I didn't feel like watching 5 hours of studying. But apparently she was like interrupting them or something. Whenever she had something to say, she wanted to really make sure that that it got out there. And apparently that just rubbed Jason and Paul the wrong way. And as you guys know, because I've said this before in previous videos, Jason really wants to go, for a long time, has really wanted to go after Christmas. So it's really no surprise that Jason's kind of bringing this up to Paul. It just seems like it makes a lot of sense for him to do that for his game. So yeah, that's basically what's going on there. Okay. Apparently Cody and Jessica did not study that much, and apparently that really pissed Paul off for some reason. I don't know why, but apparently it did. Although I think when Corey and Nicole didn't study for it last year, that also pissed them off. I think it also pissed the fans off last year too. Now that I think about it, but not so much this year. I'll jump right into the. Oh, actually, no. There's a lot to get to before the veto competition. All right, so basically, at some point last night, Cody and Jessica, they basically made up. So they're still like having little spats here and there. But it's more like playful spats than that one spat they had last night. So yeah, they're basically still good, and I'll get to like a specific conversation that they have about it in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about some conversations that Elena has had in the house. So basically, I watched a couple conversations Elena had. Elena talked to Jessica. Actually, first let me talk about her and Paul. So her and Paul have basically like rekindled. So basically, Elena's talked to Paul like, "Oh, how do I save my game?" Yada yada yada. So Paul's like, "Listen, it's fine. You can still work with us or whatever. Just try to like fish info out from Jessica about this temptation twist." And so I feel like that's kind of what she's doing right now. Now, I don't know exactly where her heart is, whether she really wants to work with Jess and Cody, but only working with Paul for game, or if it's vice versa. So I really don't know where Elena's true allegiances are. But Elena did talk to both Jess and Cody at separate times. So Elena talked to Jess, and they basically had a heart-to-heart conversation about the game. Didn't really talk too much about the hex from what I saw. But one point during this conversation, Jessica basically was telling Elena that she's really pissed off about how Raven and Matt just get to slide by every single week, and they basically contribute nothing to the game, and it just really pisses her off. And Elena's like, yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. So then after a couple of minutes later, maybe like a half hour later, Elena has a conversation with Cody, probably again to like fish information out of him. Cody says that, if you guys remember from my last video yesterday, that Cody wanted to like be mean to Jess so she wouldn't use the hex. Cody was telling Elena that he realized that idea is stupid because he realized that no one would fucking buy it, and he's right. So he stopped even like entertaining the idea in his head. There was never really a time when he was being mean to her, really. But I think it was just when he was avoiding her last night for a little while. But Cody realized that it was stupid really quick, and is now back to like chilling with Jess and stuff. Elena was saying how she feels bad about Mark, like because she doesn't know like what to do with him exactly. Because they had that talk last night about them not really being like an item anymore, but they still want to work together game wise, and they still both care about each other. In fact, a couple of minutes before this Elena and Cody talk, Elena was in the have-not room with Mark, and I think Mark was sleeping, and she was just like sitting there, like staring at him, like rubbing his shoulder. She like kissed him on the cheek, and I was just sitting there, like I've like it's like complicated human emotions going on there, and like Elena's head. So I really don't know. I don't think she even knows how she feels about Mark at this point. But yeah, Elena's like, oh, I'm like on a game level, like her and Mark are fine, but on like a personal level, you know, it's rocky. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about what the HOH room has been saying about the hex. And boy, is it fucking stupid. Well, I guess it's not fucking stupid because they don't know exactly what the hex is. But first of all, Paul is going to try at some point tonight. He had this idea like hours ago, around this maybe like noonish, to like go into the DR and try to like fish information out about this hex, which is like, all right, I mean, can you not know? Like, I just don't feel like that's right to do. Like, get the information from Jessica. I mean, Paul has a great social game. He could probably get the information out if he tried hard enough. I personally think he could, based on his social game. Like, don't rely on production to answer your goddamn questions, Paul. All right. But anyway, they're basically thinking that at this point that it's not going to be what Jess is suggesting, like a reset week. Because Paul keeps saying, why would they react so emotionally if they were both safe? And I'm like, because they trusted you. That's why. Because they trusted you wouldn't put them both on the block. That's the reason why they were so emotional. It's not about being safe. They already know they're safe. But Paul doesn't understand that. I mean, it's like a psychology thing. But you know, Paul studied philosophy, not psychology. So I guess I shouldn't blame him like too hard. So, but yeah, that's just Paul's like viewpoint on it, and he keeps repeating that to everyone in the house, and they keep repeating it to each other. So you know, it's basically the same thing over and over again. So, and there was one point during this conversation where like Paul and Matt were basically saying that if Jessica uses the hex this week, we're going to vote her out next week. And there was one quote that Matt said that was like really, I thought it was kind of stupid, because Matt has like this really like realist approach to everything, this real like logic based like whatever. I'll just say the quote. He said that Jessica is taking $8,000 out of her salary to potentially be in jury with Cody. That's a fact. I mean, like it's like that kind of statement that makes me just not like Matt. Like, why are you looking at it from like an $8,000 salary perspective? It's a fucking game. You should be looking at it from a game perspective, not a fucking $8,000 salary perspective. And fucking Matt, all Matt talks about like is fucking the jury statement. Like, oh, I just want to get the jury statement and blah 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 blah. I just want to get the jury to get. Like, it's all about the fucking stipend for Matt. He doesn't even want to win the game. He just wants to get the jury for his fucking stipend or whatever. Anyway, let me know down below how you feel about let me know down below how you feel about Matt's quote. Hope there's not too many Matt fans watching. All right, so there was apparently a point. I didn't actually get to see it because I couldn't find a timestamp, but I saw some people tweeting about it where Josh comforted Jess sometime between last night and this afternoon. So there, I just saw someone post a picture about it, and I thought that was kind of like, again, I couldn't find the timestamp, but I think it's kind of a sweet moment. You know, Josh really does have these humanizing moments where he does have hearts to hearts to people, and then he goes up and does this whole fuck, I fucked it up. Yeah, so it could be either way for Josh, but either way, he's like emotional one way or the other. He's either having a heartfelt conversation with you, or he's just totally pissing you off by acting completely crazy and erratic. I mean that's why Josh is kind of entertaining to watch. He's human. You know how it is. All right, so let's see. There was Cody talked to Jessica. And they were basically talking about like them and like the game, and Jessica was basically telling Cody, "Listen, like you did like escalate last night, and you know I just don't like that side of you or whatever." And Cody's like, "I know it's like not good or whatever. I don't want to like be a hindrance to your game, so I need to control myself." But and then Cody like went on like this tangent talking about like how he has like this real like big respect for like loyalty and like how he really respects loyal people in this game. He told like some random story about some guy that he fought with his girlfriend and like this guy's girlfriend who was trying to like back him up, even though this guy Cody was almost getting into a fight with, was being like a real idiot. So I don't know. Cody was just saying that he really likes loyalty, blind loyalty. He says he respected the girl, and that story just did not respect the guy. So I don't know. He says he just has a lot of respect for Jess, a lot of respect for, I mean, for even Elena, because she still cares a lot about Mark and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know. Cody just likes loyal people. I mean, you guys basically know that at this point. All right, so yeah, Jessica, there was another conversation that Jessica had to Cody where she was saying that, you know, if she were to have a temper tantrum in the house, she feels that it would be very similar to Josh's temper tantrums. And she says that she's like a little, when she was younger, she used to be very childish like that. So if she was to have a temper tantrum, it would probably be very similar to Josh's. And Cody's just like, let it all out, girl. Let it all out. Okay, so then we had the veto competition. Paul ended up winning the veto, which, you know, good for him. He won it last season. I believe Raven played. Can't remember the sixth person at this point. I apologize. Again, I'm doing this live. So yeah, it was the three nominees, Paul, Raven, one other person. The sixth person doesn't matter because they didn't win. So Paul won, not to no one's surprise. Paul studied like all night for this. Cody actually did decently well considering that he didn't really study. I think he got like 15 out of like 20 or something like that. So not too shabby. Jason has really made it a point the past couple of days to like in every conversation he just talks bad about Cody. I've just really noticed it a lot more in the past. Well, I guess it has only really been in the past few days because I guess ever since that blow up that Cody had, like in this little fight with Mark and his little fight with Paul, Jason's basically just been saying that he doesn't like Cody. He thinks his personality is not very good. Like a shitty person, and then he just brings that up. I just see it on the feeds a lot, and that's basically all there is to that. Okay, so there was a point tonight, oh boy, where Mark asked Paul for game advice. Oh boy. Mark just keeps crawling back to Paul at every opportunity. I mean, Mark is safe this week. He doesn't have to crawl back to Paul. Like, he's not going to backdoor you or anything. But yeah, Paul crawled back to Paul asking for game advice because, you know, he's a vet, so he knows all this stuff. But him making a vet doesn't make you better than anyone. You guys remember what Paul said last night? Oh, I'm a vet doesn't mean I'm better than you. Okay. Anyway, so when I saw that this conversation was happening, I backtrack on it because I watched it after it happened. I backtracked like 1 minute during the entire conversation, and every time I backtrack, it was just Paul talking like every single minute. It was crazy. Paul talked for like 95% of this conversation. But anyway, Paul suggested to Mark that one, he stay away from Cody, obviously, and two, he try to reintegrate himself back into the house, obviously. I mean, like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to like really understand what Paul would tell you. But Paul really made it a point to talk about it for 10 minutes. Like, yeah, stay away from Cody, reintegrate into the house. 2-minute conversation. That's all you really need. So yeah, Mark is basically backing good with Paul again for now. All right. So anyway, during this conversation, Paul actually told Mark that if he does lay low for a little while, he thinks that other people in the house will be targets. And he says that 3 other people have really been getting under people's skin. Now, he doesn't say them by name, but if I had to take a guess, and you guys let me know down below who you guys think these 3 individuals are, but I think these 3 people are Josh, Raven, and Christmas. Christmas, you guys remember that? Christmas, it just seems like, based on that conversation that Jason had with Paul and this morning, and another one that he had later that I'll get to. Raven, Paul, in the past couple of days has had a couple of conversations with Kevin about Raven and like how she's like a downer about everything and really gets on people's nerves sometimes. So I'm thinking that one of those 3 people are her, because it seems like she's been getting under Paul's skin a little bit by being really like pessimistic and stuff with her disease. And the third is obvious. It's Josh, because anyone just thinks Josh can go at any time. But yeah, let me know down below who you think these 3 individuals are. Okay, so Elena. Oh, I didn't talk about who the have-nots are for this week. Okay, so the have-nots are, well, it's still Mark, Elena, Christmas, and Alex. So those 4 people are have-nots. And Elena tried to take the have-not key, and she blew it. So now she picked the wrong color. So now she's a have-not for an extra week. And everyone is making like a big deal about it in the house. Like if they got everyone in together into a room to do it, basically, except Cody, because, you know, Cody just doesn't like people or like big groups of people. Okay. So after this, we had this talk that Raven had with Paul. So after they both left the have-not room, Raven was like, "Hey, Paul, come here. Like, I was having a conversation with Alex, and Alex told me that she saw Elena kinda backing up Jess in like some conversation they had." And so it's basically like she said, she saw, she did. So it's like, and I'm sure Paul's going to tell people later about this too. It's going to be, he said, she saw, she did. It's like relaying information from I didn't see this happen on the feeds, like, because you would have to backtrack a lot. But there was this one point a couple of hours ago where Elena was like in the kitchen with and there was a bunch of other people in there too. And she was like talking to like Cody and Jessica. Like they were just like joking around or whatever. And I just saw Alex like just stare at them. I was like, oh, well, what? Like, why are you talking to those 2? So I really feel like Alex just has it out for Elena right now. Probably doesn't trust that she's not trying to work with Jessica and Cody. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. And last thing I saw was Jason brought Paul into a room, and they basically said that they still want to target Christmas. It was basically the same conversation that they had this morning about Christmas, kind of pissing them off about the competition studying. So Jason's basically saying, and Jason's been saying this for a long time, wants to get rid of Christmas. All right, so that's all I have, I think. Let me just double check my notes, because you never know. Maybe I missed something. Yeah, so that's basically all I have. And it's really looking like Jessica is still going to use the hex at this point. It does seem like the plan that people are still going to try to prevent her from using it. And Paul seems to think that it could be that if they vote Jessica out, that's the only way it activates, or it can only be used on one person, and that one person's safe. Raven made like a point where she said, oh, maybe it's like a vote cancellation where she can cancel the votes on one person so that another person goes home. So there's just been a lot of speculation going on about it. And like I said before, Paul's going to talk to the fucking DR about it, or, production. Okay, so this has been Reality Room Spoilers with Paul. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below. If you did not enjoy the video, hit the dislike button down below. You all have your own thoughts, so let me know. If I missed anything, which, you know, I probably did. I mean, I don't watch 24/7. Let me know down below. If any new developments happen, please let me know down below as well. For those of you who have feeds, I just started my own like feed chat page, like on the feeds. It's called Reality Room Podcast. If you want to join, let me know what your username is down below, and I will invite you. It's only me in there right now because I literally just made it like a few hours ago. Yeah, so that's basically it. Until next time, guys. Peace.